been rehatched! Oh, where having you go? You know I will follow you. You know I will run to you. Oh, the sun and the moon. It don't matter what you do. You know I will run to you. Can't believe in all this time I'm hurting for you, but you feel like home. You never get a list so high. I'm dying for it. I'm dying for it. Now can't let you go. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. You're yours, oh you're bring me. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. You're yours, oh you're. If you hide away, I'll hunt you down and follow you to the end of the earth. My heart beats with yours, my lungs breathe with yours. You're a piece of me, I can't hide away. Oh, I'm under your spell. I'm aching and I'm fading. And nobody can see I'm your heartbeat. You're a part of me. Can't believe in all this time I'm hurting for you, but you feel like home. Never given this so high. I'm dying for it. I'm dying for it. Now can't you go? Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. You're yours, oh you bring me. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. Hide away, hide away from me. You're yours, oh you.
Also from now on I'm going to be using a voice for the narration rather than text mainly. This is easier for me and hopefully will allow me to be more visually entertaining. Tessa is certainly an interesting character that I like for absolutely no particular reason. But her motivations are definitely the most intriguing part to her. The one thing I can absolutely say she wants is Uzi dead, and likely Doll as well. This teaser solidifies that more than just her telling him she needs to be put down. But I believe there's a deeper reason to it than just saving the universe. And it all ties back to this. Specifically her parents. They were pretty fucking shitty, not gonna lie, but even watching your shitty parents die would be extremely traumatic. Not to mention all the other people she watched die. So what do I think her real goal is? The extermination of all drones. Now I know that may seem out of nowhere, and out of character. But she likes N, you cry out. But she lies all the goddamn time throughout episode 6. That is just one more lie onto the pile. Here we have Jay with her, anyways. At the beginning of episode 6 she gets tossed away with no ceremony because the writers didn't know what to do with her, wrong. I think this was done so strangely on purpose. Jay is just as confused as everyone watching when she's sent to guard the ship. There's a scene of just a close-up on the keys with her staring, and then her looking around confused and going, of course, boss. I really don't think this is just lamp shading because there was no need to be this in-depth with it. They could have just had her be like, okay boss, and fly away with no close-up shots of the key or confusion on her part. Also, listen to the wording Tessa has when tossing her the keys.
Jay, mind my ship.
Not, our ship, or even, the ship, it's, my ship. That is incredibly suspicious. Isn't this the girl who views drones as equals and treats them as family? And this isn't even the last time she does this. Think to after this scene. What does she say to Uzi? Don't date my robot please. N is her robot, not a friend. Uzi even points this out, yelling, he's his own person, at Tessa. This really leads me to believe that Tessa is out for all drones. Think of that random dude she decapitated when she was first introduced. Why did she do that? And I know what you're thinking, why is she even trying to get N to kill Uzi then? Because it's easier. Uzi trusts N completely at this point and so he'd have the best shot at killing her, and he'd be so distraught at himself she could simply put him out of his misery. That being said, I don't think she's making it past the next episode. At maximum she's dying in episode 8. I hate to see her go, but I love to watch her wait no. Stop. Anyways, I think we should move on to the next part, shall we? So obviously, this happened at the end of episode 6. It seems Uzi has been made canon, which I'm happy with. Remember, do not harass people for their ships, obviously don't support pro-ships, and Uzi is an adult just like N. Yes, I know N said, she's a kid, like us V. But all of Uzi's classmates with ages are at least 18, some as old as 20. And yes, N has been around since before Uzi was born, but due to the nature of them being robots and N being a vampire robot, they are the same age. He obviously doesn't appear to be the same age as Khan, who is obviously much older than Uzi. So just, stop arguing over this stupid crap, okay guys? The other major thing that happened was V's sacrifice. Although I do believe she is alive given the latest teaser video. There are a couple of things about her that stood out to me. One was her saying, hey, as she was surrounded by the Sentinels. It felt like she had something important to say, and she did say she trusted Uzi now, but I think there might have been more to it. As for why V seems to suddenly trust Uzi, I think it might be because her old mansion personality started to meld with her current personality, since episode 6 takes place literally minutes after episode 5 ends. I also think it is just general character growth, especially after seeing Uzi get calmed down by N at the end of episode 4. The other thing I found interesting was what N said. He said, no V. We need you. The way he says it sounds a lot more like a, I need you kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying N doesn't reciprocate Uzi's feelings, I totally think he does, and to be honest I think they got together after the events of episode 4. But I don't think he's totally over his feelings for V either, especially after going through his memories in episode 5. Now I am gonna be a little biased here, since this is my personal favorite ship, but I think it's possible that by the end of season 1, V, N, and Uzi will all get together. V only ever disliked Uzi because she saw her as a threat to N. In general, V has always been about protecting others, her altruism turning twisted after becoming a disassembly drone and inadvertently hurting N, J, and Uzi as a result. But she still cared about and loved N, and later came to care about Uzi. They definitely have some things to work through. I think they can do it and get V to change for the better. As for her and Uzi, they actually have a lot of similarities, and I think if they had the chance they could be good friends, and possibly more. Again, I'm slightly biased here because NUZV is my personal favorite ship, but I feel it has a good chance at happening. LGBTQ+ characters have already appeared in the series, like Lizzie, so I think there's a possibility this happens. In the end, I just want them to be happy. How that happens, whether as friends or lovers, ultimately doesn't matter to me. Now let's talk about Doll. I don't think she's making it to the end of Season 1, I'ma be honest. I think she's going to likely die to N, either in his possessed state or in a fit of rage for having killed V. Her getting killed because of someone wanting revenge, and that revenge being tied to V would be poetic.
Rolling, look! Such a tragedy! Your father has been killed!
It's possible she won't die until episode 8 however, and I mainly say that because that's when we'll get N's mural. Each mural depicts one of the main three and some kind of threat, and Doll or Tessa are the main two I suspect for N's. I can easily seeing it be a form of sin however. Let's talk Tessa. Since we haven't talked about her enough already. I think N is going to have a very tough time dealing with Tessa. But ultimately, I think he's going to side with Uzi, and bring whatever that entails. Whether he kills her or not, I'm not sure. If he does, that's another reason for his possession. But ultimately, I think Tessa will have nobody to mourn her, not even Jay possibly. So what about the two moms? Well, they get their own dedicated section. So first, I do believe Nori and Yeva are alive. Yes, I know we literally saw Yeva's corpse and Khan talks about killing Nori, but they're both Solver hosts. Yeva's corpse is even dead from a bullet to the head, and guess who survived that? Her own daughter, Doll. So my theory is that their little heart cores, as seen in episode 2 and 6, scuttled away and went back to the labs where they regenerated. But what about what they actually did back in the labs? I think they were more than test subjects, they were revered as vessels for a god. Nori in particular had a strong connection to the Solver, hence explaining her being 002. That's also possibly why Uzi became infected so quickly, because like her mother she has a strong connection to the Solver. So how did Nori die, then? Well, unfortunately, it is very possible N killed her. This, however, I believe is a non-issue. Uzi knows what N has done, she acknowledged that the murder drones took Nori from her, but she didn't care. And N likely wouldn't remember her anyways, as Liam confirmed they can't remember the faces of all their victims. Ultimately I think N will actually take the news harder than Uzi, and Uzi will show she's forgiven him. If Yeva and Nori are alive down there, I don't think they'll entirely be themselves. They would probably be possessed in some way, just like how Nori was shown to be in episode 6. And that brings me to who Nori is as a person. Personally, I think she gave in to the Solver. I think she wanted to kill all humans, just like her daughter. So she let the Solver possess her so it could kill all the humans, but she didn't know what she was getting into by doing that. That's why she later asked Khan to build the doors, so they'd be safe. But it was too late. But that leads us into my final theory. That's right, the title wasn't clickbait. We're actually doing an Eldritch theory. So I've discussed before that I think JC Jensen made a deal with the Absolute Solver for the worker drones in exchange for giving it a body. Well, they're almost certainly a cult now if they weren't back then. My guess as to the story of how this came to be is, a mining company was just digging as normal, and then they found the church and J.C. Jensen investigated and just kinda took over. My guess is this guy, Dr. Chambers, was experimenting on the absolute solver, trying to find ways to bring it into the world safely. Of course, this goes south and he fucking dies. Perhaps he's still alive down there, but I doubt it. But the real question is, what does the solver want?
We're having
Wait, no. Sorry about that. Anyways, what is it exactly that the solver wants? I believe it wants to solve the universe. The universe is a very chaotic place, and I believe the solver is trying to solve it by making it so there's complete order. If there is no universe, there can be nothing to solve. One thing I find interesting is that the solver prefers female hosts and presents itself as female through its voice. I'm not totally sure the implications, but every host that isn't a disassembly or one of the mansion drones has been a woman. This includes Triss as well, if that is the name on the locker, since Triss is a girl's name. There's an interesting line from Sin in this episode that has intrigued me for a long time. She says, "The flesh demands invitation." That line is interesting to me because that means the solver views itself as flesh, not a robot. I believe that at some point the solver was flesh, whether or not as a god or person I don't know. I do have a crack theory that the woman depicted here is possibly the solver. Whether it is its true form or not is something I'm not sure. Mainly because I don't know if the solver was always an eldritch god or at some point it was human. Either way, it is an eldritch god now. So what is going to happen to the solver? Well, I mentioned before that they'd find a massive core down there, and I think they'll destroy it. But I don't think that'll be the end of the solver if there's going to be a season 2. I think Uzi will overcome its influence and maybe even be cured, but I don't think the solver will be dead. It may rise again from the numerous corpses on the planet. I believe that was the point of the corpse spires, along with being a focal point for some kind of ritual. Perhaps one relating to turning of the gravity of the planet. I also believe this ritual might be how Earth was destroyed. The gravity turning off might be something to do with gravity being used to create a black hole, and the solver black holes at least look similar to an actual black hole. I also believe Sin does exist as her own entity, separate from the solver. For how long they existed after being revived, I'm not sure. But I think we might meet them here in this dream place while Uzi is asleep or possessed. But that is, I think, everything I have to say. I expected more, but I'm tired and I'm probably forgetting things. I'm very excited for the next episode's release, however. I just hope the goobers make it out fine. They probably won't. Jay is best girl.